Midnight Monday. I am your host, Gavin, Comrade Papa Bear. I am one of the developers, designers for the Midnight World, a upcoming tabletop RPG that we've been playing here for over a year now, I believe. And we are in the middle of a module known as Generation Midnight. Um, I would like to thank everybody for coming and to start our uh, content warning this evening, that's the word I needed, are going to be the aftermath of suicide, darkness, solitude, claustrophobia, bioplugs and ports, body horror, and the vastness of space. Joining us this evening are our three players. I'm going to do. Oh, wait. Our um, community calls this evening. Community calls this evening is going to be. We have a. Oh, I deleted. I minimize my script. Sorry. We have a mother of four needing funds for or to assist for housing security and getting her family out of an unhealthy environment. We will be linking the Cash App in the thing here, and everything donated and all subscriptions this evening will go directly to that cause. Next week will be a little bit different. We are kicking off the big uh, my brain today, everybody.
Charity stream?
Yeah,
charity
charity
stream?
stream. Monday will be the first day of the charity stream week, and we will be participating in that. So all of our funds will end up going towards the charity stream for the compound and Nat 30s next week. And tomorrow we have Dungeons and Dragons in the Discord for Nat 30s. And I'm going to quickly turn it over to everybody to do an introduction here, and then we will get underway. And just to let everybody know, we will be playing until 11 tonight, not the normal midnight. I have an early morning tomorrow, and I need to not look like a complete disheveled mess when I get there. So we are going to be beginning with Bella Page.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I will be playing the chef, Bella Page, tonight.
Titus Winterborn.
Hello, I'm Ourania Stars. I will be playing the AI engineer, Titus Winterborn.
And Jacob.
That leaves me. I'm Edgar. I portray Executive Officer Jacob Andrews.
All right. So for those of you who have not joined us on this session yet or seen it before, these three wonderful folk are part of a crew on a generation ship that is traveling many, many light years away from Earth to another habitable planet to seed colonists there and start another planet for human habitation. They are part of 12 different crews that rotate through stasis over the course of the over 100-year-long trip. In exchange for that, their family members were allowed to join the crew and are in stasis somewhere else in the ship. However, these three woke up and they were really late for their shift, 60 some odd years late for their shift, and the entire ship is abandoned. Nothing's connected, and there's a strange darkness that surrounds the outside of the ship. Lights aren't working properly. You can see them, but they don't seem to reflect within anything that is within that envelope of darkness. Our last session, they had found another survivor on the ship whom they found out was in their suit was reading that it was many, many years ago. Like, we're going to say a lot right now. I don't have my note right up ahead of me. Who has is currently in a medically induced coma because they have a lot of internal. We are currently Jacob was giving asking Titus some questions about what they could see and notice down there, and we were discussing what their suits can do. And mostly it's protect you from the harsh vacuum of space, and they've got tethers and things like that, so you don't get sucked into nothingness while working on the outside of the ship. So, picking up from there.
If you need to leapfrog your tethers, connect to a hard point there in the room, approach the gap. You know how to handle this.
This, you say so. And I'm gonna attach myself to like a rail along the wall that I can see.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
They also have like magnetic points if you want to as well. You can connect it. It's just connected. So you're connected. However, your Shadow Pierce is no longer active. It has been well over the 30 seconds that does operate. So you would have to use it again to be able to get a good sight out there towards the excess. Now, as you're walking out of that gap on the other side of the room into the next hallway, you see to your right where it looks like parts of the crew commons have like erupted upwards through the floor, the decking below you, and are blocking. That's what was blocking your way getting back towards the elevator down this hallway. It also is blocking the last two rooms, but the room that's directly across from where you're at, that's still in the dark, you can't really tell because your Shadow Pierce is not up yet. But if you go into the dim area, you see that the other door is open. According to your augment reality like overlay inside of your helmet, the one directly across from you is Victoria Roberts' quarters, which was the head engineer of D. And the one to the right of that was, oh god, I lost it.
Roy Rogers is the
Tessa
one in the
Carter's.
dark.
It's Tessa Carter's quarters, the crew's XO. I'm sorry, the one that's dim is Victoria, and the other one in the dark is Tessa. That was my bad, but yes.
Okay. Shit.
So, yeah, Bella will immediately claim the one that is dimly lit and not completely in the black for her own exploration.
Okay. So you kind of like meander over there. While that is going on, Titus, are you going with Bella, or are you?
I'm gonna go try and look out through the tear in the ship like I was instructed to.
Okay. In order to do that, you'll have to add another minute for Shadow Pierce.
Yep.
How
I'm
many-
gonna do that.
How many minutes is that?
8, so I'm at 4
4 distress dice.
Ooh, when you make it back to Bella, she can help calm you down from that. She's practiced with this.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah, you activate Shadow Pierce and looking out. You notice that the gap on the side, there is a gap here going out into the vastness of nothing. And your Shadow Pierce, as you look, you can see past this doorway or this opening in the side of the hull. This is actually where one of the lift systems for like your personal effects go down and get transferred, but the lift itself and the whole like shaft has been torn out and ripped somehow. It's like something just exploded outwards. And the closer you kind of look around, you notice that there seem to be like some singe marks here and there, that maybe from some sort of explosion, and you're not entirely sure what has caused it, but it looks like there may have been an actual explosion somewhere. Um, what happened, you are unaware beyond that. But there's been a load of damage that has been done, and it's going to take some amount of investigation and mechanical and engineering know-how to really piece it back together.
Mm.
But while you were over there investigating that, Bella, you are walking into Victoria's quarters. Victoria's quarters are just like all the other ones. Have the same kind of bunk, the desk where their personal like
Possessions? Aphex?
not effects, like their personal terminal, like the room terminal is located. And then they've got personal effects and stuff. And you notice as you walk in that on the desk there are a bunch of like different papers kind of left out. A couple of info pads are on the table. And as you kind of like look over towards those, you see some strange specks of some sort. It looks like design thing. You're not sure for what. Well, make a. You can make a roll if you would like to, and that would be a. I'm gonna call this one intuition plus wit and mechanics, if you have it, with your distress dice.
Okay. You got
That
one.
is zero
Complicated
successes.
That is rough, is what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try re-rolling some of those d6 since you're a couple seconds.
Spend some seconds.
1 second. 2 second. 3 second. Okay,
Bam.
there we go.
That is
3
one
seconds.
success. Congratulations. So after it takes you a moment, you're like, I've seen this before. I know I've seen this before, and you're kind of staring down at it blankly, and then you go, it like snaps in your head. These are specs, and they're hand drawn like engineering specs for the Cupid engine system that propels you through this that seam in space that allows you to travel so fast. And then you do know that Victoria is one of the main designers of this system, so it kind of makes sense for it to be here. I would like you to make if you want to search around further. I would like you to make we'll call it intuition vigilance with investigation as the aptitude. And while you're doing that, Titus, you can relay back to what did you relay back to Jacob about what you saw?
Everything from the singed marks to the possibility of an explosion to everything as I saw it before everything went dark. Again. I know what 30 seconds gets me, okay?
Jacob will kind of nod and make some notes in his personal log just to keep track of things. All right, I know that it's been a hell of a wake up for all of us. Are you too good to continue on down there? Do you need to pull back? We need to get more information, but if y'all need to back it up, I can tag in with someone here.
I don't
It might be good to get another set of eyes down here.
I don't know, man. I need a break. I need a break. I need something. Do we still even have chocolate aboard? Or like
If you do, it would be located in the crew commons where the kitchens are.
yeah.
All right, bring it back safely. I'll meet you guys at the lift, and we'll go down to crew commons to reactivate. Because crew commons, we still haven't connected to caretaker, right?
Yeah. Well, crew commons is also is decompressed the same way that crew quarters are. So you would have to go on basically an EV mission through that to grab what you were looking for.
That's fine. If we need to get, it'll give us a chance to get supplies. There are answers we might be able to find there, especially because Titus said the explosion seemed like it came from the deck below. So there's a possibility that we'll get some answers there.
Okay.
All I'm doing is following my line back. Like I'm not trying to I'm not trying to see anything. I'm just following my line back.
Okay, you follow your line back to like the edge of the dimness at the side, and that is, you pretty easily get back to where you're at. You weren't in any danger of being sucked out of the edge, fortunately. Though you had a moment where you were just like, ugh. You very very. It was freaky looking at. You've been able to see every time you hit Shadow Pierce. You've been able to see everything. But looking outside of the ship, it is just a massive wall of darkness. You cannot.
Yeah.
You assume you're seeing through it, right? You see through everything else, but you're not seeing whatever you can't see anything outside of just a void when you looked out.
Yeah.
And this is something you've noticed that the windows and things when you previously used it is outside of that. You weren't able to like pierce outside the ship.
Right.
So, Bella, what'd you get on your roll?
-1.
Ooh, okay.
I got 1 success and 2 distress die. At that point, like, trying to recover isn't gonna make things any better.
If you spend 6 seconds, you can ignore all of your distress die.
And go up another minute. Yeah,
Depends
but
on what you look for.
it clears my seconds. Let's do it.
There you go. Well, then go up another minute, 6 seconds. You now have 1 success on that roll. Congratulations. And that is enough for you to find. You're going through kind of like the desk area, and you end up finding this one of those like papyrus style like handwritten logbooks that have like the little like wrap around it. And as you kind of like pop that open and start looking, at first you weren't gonna touch it. You were like, whatever, that doesn't seem important. But something kind of pulled you back. You pick it up, you open it, and you look inside. And you see it's a journal of sorts. Some of it written in a very scrawled. It's written in a very like flowing, almost flowery handwriting. Very precise and very neat. However, sometimes the words just break into things you don't understand. Like the words don't make any sense, almost like it's written with some form of cipher involved. Though you do find a bunch of pictures and things in here. You see long-range satellite pictures of a giant void in space. And looking at these, you're able to pick up that these were taken before this ship left, like according to the timestamps on them. So it looks like somebody was looking at this specific section in space that you are in well before the ship launched, and that somebody was probably Victoria, or at least that's what you're able to pick up so far. And you're able to see this, Jacob, as well if you're looking at Bella's stuff, because they are in a like a dimly lit area, not a completely unlit one.
Gotcha. Jacob will be setting up to route, if he can, route remote access to the CIC through Caretaker to his suit, since he's going to have to be away from the command deck. And
Okay.
then I'll be heading down to the lift to meet them at the emergency hatch out of crew quarters, so we can then go down to crew commons.
Well, they have not. Now, just to remind you, just in case I didn't, they had not finished what they came to the crew quarters for yet.
No, yeah,
if you're aware of that. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was. I didn't skip over that in the review.
No, Jacob is, rather than driving them further, because clearly both of them are stressed, and if he breaks his
self.
No, that's not who Jacob is. So, if pulling back
That
from this,
sounded like an "I'd rather perish" moment.
No, but I mean, what am I going to do to fix Caretaker? Like that is not within my skill set.
Yeah, it is definitely not.
Basic mechanics, yes. AI, no.
Right. So are the two of you heading back to the elevator lifts back through the thing, or are you going to check out this other room that you've got while you're here? Because this other room is the Exo's room. Bella and Titus, are you heading back?
Titus, you have very good eyes. Can you take a look at what's inside?
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that again. I don't know if I can look into any more of this darkness right now. I'm like Titus is clearly starting to like freak out at the thought of like having to look in the dark again.
Bella, you had mentioned you wanted to use Soothe earlier. Are you looking to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soothe.
So add a minute. Titus, make a solace check, please.
How do I do that again?
You roll all of your current distress dice.
Go back up to 4.
You reduce 2 minutes from your midnight clock.
Cool.
So you get an automatic 1, and then an additional 1 for every 4
Yep,
that
for every
comes up,
4
right?
that comes up, you get another.
Which is more likely to happen if you're in a tense
Okay.
state of distress like Titus and Bella
Yeah,
both
you're
are.
a higher chance of getting solace the further along that you are. I mean, that's just
So the 6 minutes that I'm at, that reduces my distress die to 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
6 minutes
Making
would
sure
put
I
you
got
at
that
4 dice.
right.
you're at 6 minutes. You're at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, like so. Bella like kind of like places her hand on your back for just a moment, and you feel something kind of wash over you that is almost like just a sense of calm. Like you were on the verge of like a panic attack, but it seems to like almost have righted itself just a little bit. You feel your brain kind of like snapping back into place, um, and you're a little bit better in the here and now. You're still stressed out, but you have noticed you do feel better after that.
Okay. I kind of Titus looks to Bella, doesn't say anything, just looks at her, stands up, and starts making his way to the Exos chambers.
Oh,
Okay, so the Exos chambers. Now your HUD is giving you, you walk up and you put your hand up to where the door would be, and you notice the door is like halfway open. It's going to take a little bit of it's open. You could probably you think you may be able to force it open. If you would like to do that, I want you to make a strength plus toughness with athletics.
Which I do not have. And then all my distress die.
All 3 of them.
I'm going to spend a second to try and reroll one of the d6s.
I hope you're better luck than when I tried that
No.
last time.
I'm gonna do it again.
It's 4.
One more. No. Can I still try again, or do I have
You
to?
can spend up to
We
6
hit
seconds
6.
trying.
Okay, I'm gonna try again. Hey,
There
there
you
we go.
go.
There we go.
As a success. So your shadow pierce hits, and for a moment you're distracted. You're thinking about like how in the hell Bella just did that and everything else. But you activate your shadow pierce, or you activated shadow pierce. You said
Not yet. No,
yet.
this is from me trying to force the door
That's
open.
right. Forces are open, and it's not moving. But then you just sort of like put your back into it and really get a good shove, and you end up jamming it about 3/4 of the way open to where you can kind of like go inside. As you go inside,
Now I activate
or
Shadow Pierce.
there you go. You activate Shadow Pierce, add a minute, and you're able to look around these rooms just like you had regular vision for a moment. This is the XO's quarters, and you see here a room that seems to have been stripped bare. There's no data pads anywhere. The terminal has been actually like removed from the desk, like uninstalled from it. The bunk, the bed or the bunk area is just a single sheet and a small like pillow, nothing else involved. And you're reminded very much that this was used as a prison for quite some time for Exo Tessa Carter. So, if you want to give it a quick, I'm going to have you do a intuition plus vigilance and investigation if you haven't
I do not.
with your distress.
Since I'm looking for something that wouldn't be mine, and I'd be looking for like places to hide stuff, wouldn't my larceny apply here?
Actually, I'll give you that. I'll give you larceny on this. If you're looking for a place to hide things of value, then larceny makes sense to me here. So I'll give it to you.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, if there's something, because looking at the state of things, like if there's something here in the first place, like it's gonna be in a hidden place.
Right.
Let's see. That's a 6.
That's success.
That's success.
Oh boy. Well then, you're able to like search around, and you go up. You're kind of looking around behind. Like really, like you get kind of a good lay of the land that you've got with your shadow pierce, and the AR helps you because once shadow pierce goes off, you're still kind of like feeling around for stuff. But eventually, you find up underneath the desk that something seems to have been attached to it. Some form of feels like a data pad of some sort, and you're able to like kind of pull it off, and it as you can't really see what it is in the dark now, but you're able to pull it off, and you feel that like you are in fact holding some sort of data pad.
I think I found something. Actually, I know I found something. And then, fuck, I forgot to anchor my line. I, using the VR vision, essentially, I walk back to the rest of the crew.
Okay. Well, while you went back to join Bella, you're currently in this hallway in the dim area. While this is going on, Jacob, you've been watching them on your HUD, but you are now you've gotten the lift and you're walking out on the crew quarters.
Okay.
You kind of you remember what way they had to go, so you're able to head there and meet them. And as Titus and Bella are standing there in the dim, Jacob sort of pops out of nowhere, and you are all three standing next to each other.
I would call ahead as I'm kind of entering the space to let him know that hey,
Okay.
I arrived on crew quarters. I'm coming down the hallway. I'm coming into this room. Just because
Very
I know
cool.
they're a little on edge and I don't want to get laid out by a multi-tool.
Good call, probably. So Jacob Andrews does finally join the three of you down there in the crew quarters. And you are holding this data pad. This data pad, pretty quickly you can see that it is not attached to the like the intranet system of the ship. So it's kind of like locked away, and it seems to be, well, it's not really password protected, but you were able to open it. But there are a lot of different files on here. You're not sure which one to go to. Most of the files and the things you're opening are empty. Things like that. Someone's going to need to make a electronics roll on this one to get into it and find anything of value.
This is beyond what I can do with this.
That would fall under. Do you think that would fall under like part of my AI programming as far as like basic electrical?
Well, you have electronics, right?
I have electronics, but my
Yeah.
specialization is.
Well, your specialization would not work here, but electronics definitely works here.
Okay.
So you do get D8s to try to like hack through it and stuff. That's part of being you.
What's the roll?
Oh, I'm sorry. That is my bad. That's gonna be an acumen wit.
As Titus is coming back up from that room, and Jacob comes in, he'll nod at Titus. Good find there, Titus. Stay here for just a second. See what you can find on it. I'm gonna check one thing, and then I'll join you guys. And he'll anchor his tether and head towards the gash.
The notepad that I took, I'm gonna like show it to Titus in detail now.
Interesting. I'm gonna spend a second to re-roll this too. Jeez. I'm gonna try.
It's a lot of sad fours.
This too.
So close, but yet so far.
This too. Oh my
Oh no.
Make them all 4s.
This too.
Uniformity.
One more.
Get
God
conformity.
Conformity.
Yeah, it wants you to get this complicated success today.
Just because Bella Page just now puns as a character trait doesn't mean you can escape them.
Yes! Okay.
Woo!
Finally, a single success. How many seconds are you at now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's a few.
It looks like 10. You only got 2 more to get. Yeah, there's only 2 more, so you're at 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at your thing.
Yeah, I'm at 10. This is great.
You're definitely at 10. This is great. Okay, so after some fiddling around with it, you finally find the correct file paths to get to what you're doing. And you end up finding what seems to be messages back and forth to different groups, assuming at this point the other mutineers about what they were going to do. And in this message, you find. Where did it go? Kind of almost like a log as to why they did this. It's like Tessa's XO logs as of the navigation change. And you can see earlier, it's going to take a while to read all of it, and you don't really have time to, but gleaning over it, what you're picking up is that Tessa was immediately like skeptical of this the second that it happened. She went along with the captain for a while, not sure what to do, but eventually was speaking to other people who were also aghast at what was going on because they all felt like they were on the way to fail the mission. Um, she ended up making the decision to relieve the captain of duty, attempted to do so under like her official capacity, but she did not expect um, the majority of the crew to side with the captain given what was going on, and she and 5 others were locked up, which you already kind of knew. And she goes into a little more detail here. And eventually, when they broke free about a year later, for a year, it's like her talking about like her day to day, what they do, how they do it, and stuff. When it comes to like them as prisoners, they're taken out once a day for like food and like an hour of reg time, and they're under guard the entire time. They're brought back and then rotated out day in and day out. Um, but eventually, they are broken free by um, Engineer Yost and attempt their mutiny, in which she outlines that they try to get into the um, like the what is that? What is it? The word zapped out of my head. The section of the ship that contains all of the colonists, like the colony section, and all of the supplies, because there are weapons in there just in case when they get there they have to like fight off some sort of like dinosaur or some shit. They don't know. So she was trying to get a group there in order to attain those weapons when they were stopped. This is when uh, they ended up being and this is the last like log entry that you get for this is that she was about to head out with other members of the crew to take weapons, and hopefully she'll be able to make another, but that was the last entry. So that's kind of what you glean together, the highlight information or the big points from flipping through this.
Whatever happened here and between what you found and I found, this was planned for a long time. But we didn't get a word of it.
I mean, this happened while we were asleep.
But the logs I found before the ship even left Earth. The spot that they flew out to. Instead of where we were supposed to be going. That's
Yeah, it's possible Crew D, members of Crew D, organized how they were going to do this even before launch, which means they may well have had help in the way crews were assigned to make sure the majority of them were in space together. Because whatever Victoria may have wanted to do or what she may have known about whatever the strange void is, like without the captain on her side, or at least the majority of the crew on her side, she'd have never been able to organize the ship to go there. So whatever strange thing is going on here was a serious problem and is deeper connotations than just...
And something else you remember, Jacob, from your research earlier is that, just in case you don't remember, was that Victoria specifically requested to be a part of Crew D. So, yeah. And given that what you've just found, it looks like she may have done this in order to be able to to change the whole thing.
The trajectory at the time.
Yeah.
Because they would have been the ones. Like if she requested Crew D, it's possible other members of Crew D also similarly requested that designation, and that the trajectory change they needed to do would have been during the time that Crew D was in charge. That may have just been the design from the get-go.
Yeah, that's very troubling.
I hate it.
Politics.
Well, you are currently one hallway over from the captain's quarters and Yost's quarters. They are on the next hallway over. However, you've not seen a way to get there. However, Titus, and well, actually, the three of you are able to get this from Caretaker, whose sensors are working. There is another hull breach at the end of the hallway on the other end. You could conceivably EV your way outside of the ship to that hallway.
So we could go out the gap around the edge of the ship and then back in the other hallway.
Yep.
Guess we're going for a spacewalk.
Titus, does this AR program encompass the outside of the ship regarding, panels, walk spaces, tracks, etc.?
The answer is yes, Titus.
What?
The AR system that you have does in fact read stuff for the outside of the ship too.
Oh, yes. It did seem to, yes.
Okay.
The only problem is that there may not be any visibility really, so we will be relying mostly on AR to get us by.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I need you guys to take 5 here. I'm willing to do that EVA. I'm trained in it. I'm capable for it. And as long as Caretaker, can you determine any other major damage to the outside? Obviously, the explosion things have caused trouble, but are there? Can you add an overlay or any information for me to avoid hazardous damage on the outside, based on the sensors that we have?
Sensors are showing that there are multiple hull breaches in this area. I could closely approximate where the other one is, but unfortunately, hull breaches do affect my ability to read sensors, because the sensors are often within that hull.
Also the exterior sensors are all offline too. So
yeah. Well, those are long range sensors, like
okay.
Yeah, the ship's like hull sensors and shit are all part of the internal mechanisms.
Okay. I'll pop out. I'll take it slow. Make this work. Then we can head down to crew quarters or crew commons. See what we can find there.
Okay.
Maybe take our feet off for a bit.
I just need a sweet something salty. Junk, give me junk. I'm so stressed.
I would love to make you some.
I'm sure we've got some fried ice cream or something down there. Or freeze-dried ice cream.
Yeah.
If the fryer's working.
Well, I'm sure with explosive decompression, probably nothing's working down there, but we'll find something.
All right, Jacob, if you're doing the EV,
yeah, he's going to be be super cautious and with his anchors, doing what he needs to do.
Okay, so you have a tether that's connected internally to the ship as you go around.
Mhm.
You're able to kind of like step out and basically step onto the hull so that you're standing perpendicular to where you were before. And it is pitch black outside. You are unable to see anything. If it wasn't for the AR showing you that something was in fact around, you wouldn't notice much of anything at all. However, um, the AR system. Oh yeah, well, not however you. That's pretty much what you got. So.
Mhm. Uh, is there some form of like magnetic boots or anything like that that'll
Yeah,
help
your
keep
your
me?
boots your boots have like they are mag boots, so you're able to. That's standard kind of issue thing. So.
Gotcha. So he's going to take cautious steps forward, basically putting his foot forward and testing the space ever before shifting weight forward.
Mm-hmm.
And using the multi-tool that he's got, he'll be kind of testing the space in front of him vis-a-vis like walking stick
Okay.
to try and ensure that he's not going to encounter any, you know, blowout shrapnel, anything that might cut his suit, things like that.
All right.
It'll be slow going, but
I would like you to make an intuition plus composure. This is an athletics check. Athletics has a specialization in this game which you don't have. None of the three of you got this one, but there's basically a low gravity movement specialization for this mod, but athletics is what you're going to use.
all right. Well, I do have athletics, so I'll take it.
You do.
So we'll go D8, 2D8 plus intuition, and I'm at 1 distress die.
And I believe you don't have any specializations because you have Jack of all trades, actually, as your privilege.
I have lucky as my privilege, but I don't have any specializations.
You don't have any specializations. You are supposed to. I missed one. That was my bad.
That's fine. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay.
But yeah, 1 success.
1 success. That is enough to get you there. You very carefully kind of poke and prod your way over, and eventually the multi-tool just sinks into nothingness, and you realize this is it. So you kind of are able to get down really carefully on your hands and knees and like pull yourself back into the ship. The gravity from the way the ship moves is like pulling against you, almost like back. So it's a difficult process, but after a little time, you are able to like hop back in, and you're on the next area. To your left is the captain's quarters, and then the next one down to your left, or not the next one down, further down to your left is Yost's quarters.
So the captain's quarters are against the edge of the ship. They're pitch black.
Right.
All right. He'll try the door.
Okay.
Just going with the AR overlay again. Still kind of blind movement, like
the door.
watching himself with the multi-tool.
The door is closed, and you are able to like kind of finagle enough with the panel to eventually open it. And as you step in, you just see the overlay for the room itself. You're not able to see much else, if anything, in the captain's quarters. Though, if you would like to search areas you can see by feeling around, this is going to be allow you to search the bunk area, the desk area, or the personal effects areas.
So the main thing I'm looking for here is the captain's personal log, because he stated that he'd logged everything personally when he swapped over. Would that be? I don't know enough about the man to know if he'd have taken it down.
You just have to try
copy.
one. Yeah, you don't know where it would be, so you have to try one.
So we'll start with the terminal, see what he can find.
Okay, so you get to the terminal, and you're able to. Well, you're not able to do anything yet because you've got to try to activate it in the dark. You have the overlay. The AR overlay, though, is built for this kind of work, so it gives you what the screen should say currently, right? Like so you can push buttons properly, but it is going to be a intuition plus, we'll call it wit, and this is going to be your this is going to be an it's an electronics. in order to activate this. So.
Man can hope.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Looks like one success.
That is one success. And for just a moment, the lights on this panel flicker over top of the overlay. You seem to be close enough to see whatever's going on. Add a minute, you get the flickering lights from that. But
Everyone's favorite flickering
yeah,
lights.
as this is done, you jump into where the logs would be, or where you kind of like navigate using the AR system where logs would be. And you're able to start kind of playing them. You just have no way of taking this terminal out of here or seeing exactly which one you're playing, so you can kind of play them at random. And maybe you can get a feel for it. But this is going to be the first one you hit is basically uh, the captain spending a good long time uh, just talking about his family and how he can't wait to get them where they're going and how they're never going to feel pain again. And he almost like a rambling about it. They'll never have to feel pain. They'll never have to feel sorrow. They'll finally be free of, all these different things. But he's just rambles on that way for like a while. But the date that you got was sometime in the middle of, it was after the mutiny. So do you want to move forward or backward?
Uh, we'll move forward because I know at this point Jacob feels like he knows what happened that led to the mutiny. He's curious as to like why the captain made this decision, but right now I need to know like what happened with the mutiny that may have caused the explosion and like the status of the ship and like where the missing crew is and all that stuff. Like the
Make
remainders of crew D.
make an investigation check. We're gonna call this acumen plus wit investigation.
Sure, I'm doing a ton of acumen stuff for a man with one die.
Yeah, it's a rough day for that one.
I feel that. I love this aspect, by the way, with the achronological logs. This is really neat.
It's really
Successive.
really difficult to write. I've been trying so hard to like make it make sense to me. But you got one success and
I got
two.
3 successes.
You got 3 successes. Yeah, good job. So three
Nice.
successes is plenty. You actually find the captain's final log. That's what you end up skipping to. And in this one, he is speaking of how this is going to be his last day on the ship, and it's been an honor to serve uh, not only on the Endeavor, but serve for all humankind in what they are about to undertake. And today, he finally gets to join. He finally gets to give himself over to the void and become, you know, uh, one with a whole new existence. Um, he is going over that so far. The majority of the crew has already exited out of the airlock to join the rest of, or to finally be fully joined in the void. And he has given the order to basically end the lives of every other crew member to make sure that the other crews don't wake up, and that crewman Yost, who has seen the error of his ways, has shown him records of that successfully being accomplished. Um, and he basically signs off saying that if someone ever he does it, he kind of signs off saying he's not sure why he's even leaving this, as his mission was accomplished, but perhaps when the ship returns to Earth, or when Victoria returns the ship to Earth, someone will be able to read his words and understand the good that he has done.
Say your usual fanatic stuff.
But presumably, apparently, the Victoria was going to get the ship back to Earth.
Yeah, that's
That's
a new
news.
piece of the puzzle. Yep.
Can I connect to this terminal to download these logs to review later?
Absolutely. You can do so pretty easily. You see a port that you can kind of pull stuff from. Caretaker assists you with that to a degree, and pulls everything into your suit to look through later. Is there anything else you would like to search in here?
I'll do just a quick cursory search, just in case he had, just to see if there's anything particular that stands out or that I find, and then he'll
All
take
right,
it into
we're
the
gonna
dim.
call. Let's do an intuition. Yeah, intuition plus vigilance on this with an investigation.
Two successes.
That is enough. You kind of sitting at the desk that you're at, you start kind of like rifling through the different little drawers or whatever, and you reach in, and something you remember something about the ship and what the captain has access to just in case, and you pull from underneath the like you kind of have to like work it pretty good, but you open like the center drawer, the smaller one, like right in front of you, and reach in. And your glove goes around the familiar feeling of a pistol.
All right, he'll pull it away and get back out of the dark and into the dim so he can review it, make sure it works, and then head to Engineer Yost's room. And he'll update Titus and Bella that, he's gotten the captain's crew logs, or personal logs, has a bit more information.
Okay. The pistol that you're holding is it's meant for work on space stations. You've seen them before. The rounds in them are plastic so that they won't actually puncture hulls, but they will definitely puncture a soft target. Sometimes you have to shoot a couple times to get through like an EV suit. You've seen that kind of happen. But once mankind hit space, they found ways to kill in space without blowing the whole ship up, and this is one of those options. So these plastic round, this gun with plastic rounds in it is, it works. So you can test fire it if you want to, but
No, he'll just make sure that the chamber, like, he's not
yeah,
super trained in pistols, but he had to pass his military training to get here. Is
you know
basic
which
stuff.
way is the dangerous end, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of what we're looking at here. So you do have this, and you can kind of like stow it away in your EV pouch, and one of your EV pouches for now, and meander into Yost's room.
And this room is dimly lit, right?
This room is dimly lit, and this room, similar to the one that Titus had explained to you earlier, seems to be very stripped bare, just like the others. However, you know that by the bunk in the back, there is
Hidden compartment from
hidden
the
compartment.
message.
Yep, hidden compartment from the message. So you need to find that, and that is going to be, we're going to call this a coordination plus vigilance to kind of search through and try to find it with investigation and your distress dice.
One success.
Okay. You're fiddling around the bunk or whatever, and end up you're having some difficulty finding it. You can't really go up underneath because it's like a full system underneath. You don't find anything loose there to go through. You've like kind of like been banging and trying to get panels to go loose, and then you have a moment where you pull the mattress back, and you're able to like you realize there's like a loose section underneath the actual bunk itself. You pull that open and reach in, and you pull out a data pad, another data pad, similar to the one that you found in the Exos that's not connected to the intranet.
All right. Being on this side of the ship is giving me the heebs. Is there any other access from here that seems particularly relevant? Like, I know I can't get through to the elevator section. I'm gonna have to EVA again to get back.
To go back,
right?
yeah. You don't see any other like way out necessarily. Just looking around, of course, you couldn't really tell in the dark room because you weren't able to search it, like whether or not there was a gap on the other side. But you know you can get back to them through the EV situation.
But there's nothing like through the floor down to the crew commons deck or anything like that I've seen.
From where you're at, no, not anything you could get to. The only way you've seen down in the crew commons area was from the previous hallway where the like debris had jutted upwards.
Gotcha. Then yeah, I'll stow that data pad, make sure it's really secure, and make my way back.
Okay, that's going to be another one of those athletics check. This is going to be a.
I'm gonna spend my auto success that Cat gave me, and I'm just gonna make it back.
Great work. Yeah. Well, you still have to roll because you could roll numerous ones and negate it. Yeah.
It's an auto. Okay.
You a single success on the roll.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm sorry, you said it was going to be coordination.
It's coordination plus composure, athletics.
All right. Well, I do have athletics at least. No, come on, damn it. Coordination. Composure. Stress dice. Okay, but that gives me my one success.
That does give you a one success. So you get back to the tether, or you're pulling yourself along the tether pretty easily to where you're supposed to go, and slink back into the gap on the other side of the ship, walking through the darkened area to get to the dim portion where Titus and Bella are standing and waiting for you.
And he'll call again as he's like, "All right, I'm approaching the other gap, coming in. All right, I'm in crew quarters, coming out of the black." And just out of habit, he'll have his like chest light on because that's what you do. You turn it on to make sure you can see, even though it doesn't help at all in this place whatsoever.
You can like you notice that while you're in the darkened area, if you run your hand or something over it, like it maybe goes 6 inches away from you, and you can actually see your hand pop up for a moment. But you don't like those kind of flickering lights, so you don't do that often.
Not a fan of it personally.
Not a fan.
It does.
Not a big fan.
Does work, but we're not going to focus on it.
Yeah, we're not going to focus on that right now. But you are back. You have a pistol and the data pad.
So, bad news is that I did not find any chips in the captain's quarters. I knew for sure that he was going to have something there, but no dice. Good news is I did find the data slate that Yost stowed for us. So if we want to make our way back to the lift, get back into the airlock, kind of pop the seal on this these suits for a minute and not be breathing recycled helmet air. Everybody kind of take a moment. We can review that and then head down to crew commons and see what we can find.
Godly.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
So you're all able to, with the AR system, to make your way back. However, you are unfortunately forced to walk back through a completely darkened area. Bella, at a minute, you're unable to see anything during this. Titus is able to give you kind of an approximation of where that body is so that you don't step on it. And you make your way back to the elevator without much issue. You close the elevator and air is cycled back into it, and then Caretaker gives you the green light that it is it has atmosphere again. And helmets come off, and the air is not really fresher. You know that because it's still recycled air, but it does somehow taste just a little bit better than what you were doing. It's like the psychology of it makes you feel a little bit better. But so do you do the data pad now?
Yeah, he'll pull it out and kind of open it up.
All right. There's one file on this data pad. That's it. Just the singular one, and you turn it on. Yost's face appears on the screen. He looks very old, and the timestamp is reading this recording was made 43 years ago, putting Roland at around 75 years old. He has a haggard expression on his face as he begins to speak. Putting Yost at around 75 years old. I don't know why I said Roland.
Yeah, because Roland should be that old.
Roland
for some reason.
Yeah, but isn't for some reason. He goes, "Listen, Roland, I don't know why I'm doing this. You're dead. You jumped out of the ship decades ago with Jess in tow, but you told me to leave you this message before I died, so I figured why the hell not. I made sure those three would wake up right when you asked them to, and I've spent every day wondering if I was losing my mind for believing this wild plan. But that little bit of hope is all I have left. Hopefully you'll get this, and hopefully you'll listen to what I'm about to say. We cannot reroute this ship. I know the caretaker can theoretically handle the journey on its own, but things got a lot bigger since you were gone. I worked out another solution, one you need to take. When this ship reaches its destination, you must set the antimatter reactors to critical and let the thing explode. If my calculations are correct, it should tear this black cancer out of our universe and send it back where it came from. Don't try to be a hero, man. Just destroy this void and know you're probably saving our entire reality. Victoria has made the final call, and it looks like I'm going out the same way you did. And he kind of like starts to say something else and just sort of like closes his mouth and shakes his head and then turns the thing off. It goes black.
Love your delivery of that. A+.
Super great. Uh,
I feel that he's a very ornery old man at this point, so he's just like, fuck it.
Yep.
okay.
Shit,
Well,
y'all. What now?
I get the impression that Roland, however this works, Roland is probably not going to like that answer. Whatever it was he did to go out and come back, and I'm not even going to get into why he's not as old as Yost was for being gone that long, because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, he should be in his 90s.
Can we just call it time magic? I'm willing to just call it time magic.
What was?
There's no other explanation for this.
I'm
like,
super
honestly.
uncomfortable with the idea of acknowledging time magic, but I don't like any other options, so we're just going to go with that and move on.
Great.
Okay, wait. The logs. Out of character, did you share them? The contents of
Yeah.
the logs. Okay.
Everybody just watched that video play. Yeah.
Okay, the previous one.
But no,
with the information that like the family and the sleep and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what kind of crazy cult shit. I'm gonna call it a cult. I'm sorry. That's just, it's not intended in a disparaging manner. Should these records ever come up, I will leave that to a formal a formal jury to decide on the actions of Captain Oboe. But yeah, the cult definitely put us all down for Kool-Aid, and I can only be thankful that Roland and Yost did something about it.
Look, there being a cult just further validates my time magic theory.
Sure, Titus. We'll go with that. I do not want to blow this ship up with me on it. I want to get to our destination, because that was the whole point.
He said we can't reroute it.
I think he said we can't reroute it as in a we shouldn't reroute it, not as in a we are unable to reroute it. But I am going to take a note from Captain Kingsley's book here, from the little bit of time I served with him, and know that an executive order right now to just pull rank and say we are doing this is not the way to get any kind of cooperation out of the two of you. So, what do we want to do?
I want to see if Roland's going to wake up anytime soon. And get an explanation from that asshole.
All our families are asleep in the colony section of this ship. I don't want to blow up everybody I know and love and myself. So if there's literally any option that doesn't involve turning this ship into a bomb, that's the option I would go for.
Titus, you may know more about this than I do. If we detach the crew module, can we reroute the ship back to Earth space at least? The colony ship, at least, I mean?
That is way above my pay grade, dude. Like, I can sit and think about it for a couple minutes, but I'm AI programming and engineering. I'm not the physics that actually runs this ship, way beyond me, dude.
Gotcha.
Fortunately, you do have a physicist on board.
Caretaker?
Is that Roland was the physicist?
Yeah. Roland was the physicist of Crew D.
All right. Well, we'll talk with him if he's wake up. Caretaker, what's the status of Roland?
It looks like Roland is expected to survive. I cannot venture how long he will be under. He is still healing. Uh, the After a round of some surgery and a quick transfusion, he is looking a lot better than he was, though he is still unconscious. It may
Is
take a
that
little time for him to fully recover or recover enough to.
is that a manufactured or maintained unconscious, or just what the natural state after the surgery? Like, are we
Uh,
maintaining an enforced coma still?
Currently, well, my medical programming is telling me to leave him in this state for at least another hour, and then after that, allow him to wake up naturally when he is ready to. I could wake him up early, but it could, and he would most likely be able to answer your questions, but he would be in a lot of pain and possibly at risk for uh, relapsing into a critical state again.
Now let's leave it for that hour. Give him that time. I don't need a half-dead physicist, especially one who's probably halfway insane. That gives us time to scout crew commons, maybe get a bit of reprieve, and talk to him when he wakes up. Does that work for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good, guys.
That last
So-
log was a lot to take in, but sure.
Compartmentalize, process, continue. That's all we can do.
Well, right, because the only other option is to, resign ourselves to blowing up everything. Yeah.
Yep, still don't like that. We're gonna figure something out for that.
Now you do know that no part of this plan is going to work until the external sensors are on, because you don't know where you're at. You wouldn't know how to reroute anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what your destination is if you decided to go with the OS plan. Any of it you can't do without the external sensors. But Crew Commons is next, so you move the lift to the Crew Commons area, and you are told that, and caretaker says that they are ready to cycle the atmosphere.
All right. Everybody take your last breaths, your last deep breaths of atmosphere before we suit up. Click on.
Okay, y'all are clicked in. After a few moments, the air is cycled out, and the doors open. And the doors open to a well, you saw it before, Bella and Titus, when you were rescuing Roland. But when you do so this time, you actually can give it a good view. The crew commons is broken into different sections, the same way every other deck is. You have the like R&R section. There's like a sauna. There's different kind of games, books, literature, relaxing areas. There's sort of a they have tanning beds and things like that to get your vitamin D.
Oh, so the work was hard, but we were taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got to stay alive, and while you're under a G during travel, if you don't have constant like exercise, your muscles will eventually atrophy. And if you ended up surviving to the end of the trip, you wouldn't be able to walk on this planet. They would just crush you. Your body wouldn't be able to handle it anymore. So there's also the kitchen area here. As you walk in and kind of poke your head, you're not able to see power on to this entire section at all. In fact, the caretaker has not been able, cannot read any kind of like sensors. They don't know where any hull breaches are. They do know there's a hull breach here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be, you know, completely uh, yeah, decompressed. But you know the direction to the kitchen very well, Bella.
Doggo.
Yeah. She's being conspicuous. Yeah, so so are there any lights in the kitchen?
No, there's no lights anywhere on this floor. You get to kind of the hallway that leads down to where the kitchens are, and you open the door to the mess hall. And on the other side of the mess hall, there's like well, you can't see it from where you're at. The mess hall's in the dim area, but you see just the lip of the little like serving area where you would lay out the different food. And typically, there's a lot of like freeze dried food and like stored food, but the ship itself grows food. There is um, like an area in which fresh food is consistently like grown in order to maintain everybody and give them some nutrients they otherwise wouldn't have. That's why you have botanists on your crew. Uh, and that's fortunately not in the crew commons area. That place would be upstairs. Um, but you can't really see much here. Now, however, the crew commons area you do see littered across some of the tables and things, just sort of different like packages of food. There's some like opened cans or those little like juice Capri Sun style things that you would get in space, kind of like crushed up. There's trash all over the place, and the place is kind of a mess, to be honest. Like something rattled everything apart. There's a couple of like chairs that have been overturned, possibly. You don't see any damage in this immediate area, though.
So we're still in the dim space. We're not like out into the dark, but there's no power as far as we can tell.
Right. And Caretaker has not been able to reestablish power to this thing. It's going to take a lot of work to do so.
So the only food is just snacks that have been left out.
Well, you haven't been back to the kitchen yet, but you can't see in the kitchen. You do know your way around the kitchen enough to be able to like open a section where the different kinds of food would be stored, but it would be in the dark where you cannot see. But yeah.
That's
All right.
So she's gonna be inventive and find with the stuff that is outside. See if there's any signs that the stuff would be inedible before she goes and starts serving it to people.
Most everything that you find that's sitting in the actual mess area is open or half eaten. There's some you see like actual like what looks to be like biomatter that has degraded and is laying on the ground from years ago. Someone was apparently eating dinner and then dinner was over. But you don't find anything that's immediately safe to eat. You do find one unopened package of the juice that they like, the orange juice, and you can pocket that. But you're gonna have to go into the kitchen storage area to see if there's anything else.
Yes, she's gonna do it. This is the thing she's good at. She's gonna do it.
Do you need a hand in there, Bella? Or
yeah, make sure there's nothing gonna fall on my head in here. I don't think the kitchen's the way I left it.
Gotcha. I mean, everything's gonna be rattled around a bit. I'll pop in first, clear it with the multi-tool. I'm kind of familiar with that after the EVA, and then you'll at least know you've got clear walk space and can grab what you need.
Good. Yeah, my knives are pretty sharp. I don't want anyone stumbling around in here.
Okay. So
Jacob will nod, going, "I just said I'll go in there and stumble around," but he's not gonna say that. He's just gonna be like, "Okay."
Oh, you wouldn't stumble.
Are you so you're going in first, Jacob?
Yeah, I'll go in first, doing the same that I did on the EVA, basically multi-tool in front, making sure that there's at least a clear walkway. There isn't like
Call it a coordination, composure, investigation roll.
And I will anchor to the wall just because we don't know where a potential hull breach is, and I don't want to fall out the ship.
Perfect.
Said coordination plus what?
Composure.
Composure.
And investigation is what you're dealing with.
One success.
That's one success. All right. So you kind of like bring the multi-tool in there and using it as a sort of walking stick to make sure you have a clear area. The AR system is giving you a pretty good idea. There's like a central prep table like in one area that's kind of gapped off from like the serving. I don't remember what those things are called, but like the serving area, it's like an open portion where you would lay down food for someone to
the buffet.
The buffet, yeah, to pick up. And then you have your various like ovens. They don't really have stovetops in space, but it's these oven things you would cook internally. You're seeing, and as you kind of like wander around, you do notice that a lot of the drawers and things and cabinets are just hanging open. Mm-hmm. And you are stepping on some sort of debris. It feels like maybe utensils, some stuff is crunching underfoot, but you can't really see what it is.
Anything that's kind of like, if you get something feels like a particularly big crunch, he'll reach down and kind of feel for it. Like through EVA suit and everything, you're going to lose a lot of what's going on, but he'll try and get a feel of the shape of it. If it's like a bag or box or container.
Well, you can actually bring it up to that light 6 inches
Oh, yeah,
away and see. So like when you bring it up, you actually grab a random thing. The first thing you grab and pick up is um, a package of like freeze dried ice cream
Mhm.
that it looks to be stepped on and crushed, but as far as you know, it's still good. It seems to be in the package. You'll have to mess with it more later.
Your audio cut
That
out
li-
a little
that
bit there.
lift.
You'll have to like fiddle with it more. You'll have to like, look at it in better light, really, to see if there's an actual opening. But it doesn't look opened.
Okay. I'll kind of take that space that hopefully here is where a pantry cabinet that has stored more of this may have fallen out. See if I can grab any like 2 or 3 more,
Hmm.
and then head back. Uh, and basically like I'll finish clearing the space, but I know like, hey, I've got at least one thing that covers what Titus was looking for.
Hmm. Yeah, and picking that up and looking at it, you are recognizing now just how hungry you actually are.
Mhm.
None of you have eaten since you woken up. It's been hours. You technically haven't eaten in almost like 70 some odd years. Um, and the gnawing hunger is starting to get to you just a little bit, so you're going to need to more. Bella, are you going to go in and start hunting down?
Yep.
All right.
But
Jacob
now
will
that
call
we know
kind
the
of a
path is not completely booby trapped by time or
Yeah.
antics.
So you're going to make the same roll. That's going to be a coordination plus composure. However, I'm going to let you use your. Um, I'm going to let you have D8s on this because you are so well versed in this kitchen. You know where things are supposed to be. And with the AR system, it's going to let you like go exactly where you know they would be. So it's going to give you a bonus. So we'll call that. So upgrade your um, composure dice to D8s. Add a minute though as soon as you walk into
Yeah,
this darkness. I don't know if I
I
told
was
you
gonna
that or
say
not.
like that. I was gonna do it if you didn't. Okay. Why are my distress die not showing up?
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. I've just been adding them manually.
Oh, that's weird. They should be.
I'm clicking it and it's not doing it. Wait, if I hit check, it might fix it. There we go. I fixed it.
Oh yeah, if the edit thing is on, it won't add them.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
So I am in the dark and I got a 1.
Okay,
So I'll
so
be honest about that, but I did also get like a
2
success.
successes.
Yeah.
You succeeded in what you're doing and looking for, and how you're looking. However, like you feel something kind of creep, like almost from the base of your skull, right down your spine, and it's like a memory of a pain that you had years ago, and it's all over your body. It's you had your tonsils out years ago from massive strep throat issues. It's one of the most painful things that you recall dealing with. And for that moment, just for a good 10 seconds or so, that pain was in your throat. And you kind of like cough for a second and shake it off, and then it's just gone. You're, so you didn't have any of the other symptoms of that, but just for a moment, it's like the memory of that pain bloomed in your head.
Does that relate to a damage die or a point of damage as well?
Yes, it is a point of damage.
To be clear.
To be
Yeah,
clear.
I brought it down from 12 to 11. This is the first time it's happened to her because she's been avoiding this.
There you go. Well, either way, you do reach over to where you normally keep like a bunch of the snack stuff, and you know that like external temperature stuff on your readouts for your suit, anything in here should be frozen solid. In fact, that juice you got earlier, I meant to say frozen solid because there's no heat here. It's just the vacuum of space. But you're able to like reach in and you actually pull out kind of a container that is unopened, like a big container where you're able to like reach in, and there are a bunch of different little like packets of food and drink in there, the quick ones that are like for storage or what have you, and you're able to retrieve those. Once you pull yourself back into the dim area, the three of you have enough that you can actually probably have some dinner right now. It's all garbage, dehydrated food, nothing really to match that well. But it is food, and it is the most edible thing that you've seen since you've been on the ship.
All
We
right.
did it.
Even got a little bit of fun, and he'll kind of toss the bag of freeze-dried ice cream to Titus.
Yes, my man. So
All
good
right.
to see this. Going to eat all of
You had
it.
mentioned that there were sections of the ship that grow like actual food that aren't on crew quarters or crew commons. They're what, up in engineering, or
They're
your
on the
mic cut out
same.
again?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know if maybe the battery in your headset's dying or something, but it's
It,
kind of
it it may be, but we're about to finish up here in a few minutes, so
Okay.
because I'm gonna have to go. So uh, yeah, there is on the automated systems level where AI, the caretaker AI is, there is a like basically a quarter or a section there that is for growing of food. It's one of the biorecycling section feeds into it, to a degree. It's part of the whole system. Um, so yeah, they take seeds and they grow stuff in space. It's also about uh, which is kind of a typical thing on most ships. You've been on ships on and off like majority of your life. It's most of them have some sort of like vegetation that they're growing there because it's just the easiest way to maintain a food source in deep space. Um, though, I mean, it's been so long, there's nothing in there that's viable to eat.
Oh, okay.
Like it's been because it's fresh food. It would just be rotten at this point.
Well, I didn't know if the system might have still been
Yeah,
running, but
No,
Underrated.
that's what you have a botanist for. You have a horticulturist and a botanist whose job is to like maintain
maintain
this
it.
system. Yeah.
Okay,
Without
gotcha.
them here, it's not being maintained.
All right. Well, is there anything else we wanted on crew commons before we head back and partake of our spoils?
No, I'm good.
No, we're just filling up before it's time to talk to our mutineer in the sick bay.
I imagine he's going to be hungry too, so this might be a little might be a little easier to negotiate if we have some of his favorite Captain Crunch or some shit.
Definitely.
All right, let's make way. Let's get the fuck out of here. I want to get out of this suit.
So where are y'all headed to eat?
Med bay?
Med bay.
Is
Yep.
Med Bay going to be a good spot for you there, Titus?
I'll be fine.
I just
I'll figure
I'm
it
looking
out.
at the thing next to your name there, Titus.
I know.
Well, Jacob has no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
We're
yeah,
being meta,
just,
but he's joking.
I know what I'm signing up for.
Okay.
All right, so you all get to you get back to the med bay and you take a seat on some of the empty like kind of bio beds and like tables there and set up your own little dinner. Now, the the moment that you pop your helmet off, Titus, your first breath is of that like just that disinfectant smell that just soaks into everything. Add a minute, please. Though you are able to scarf down some junk food in this time, so I would like you to go ahead and make a solace roll as well. Bella, you had a solace roll given to you today. If you would like to go ahead and
I
make
used
one.
it in the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I got 2 4s.
You got
At-
that is a 3-minute reduction, Titus.
it gave me a small amount of time where my distress die was 3, although it is now up to 5 because of that last step into the darkness.
Nice.
Uh,
I am down to 2 distress die.
when we inevitably hit minute hour 2 next session, we just level up our stats, right? There's not
Yeah,
like
immediately you go to hour 2. You have 2 points to spend to increase stuff on your character. You can either add a new aptitude, you can add a new specialization, you can increase an attribute or a skill. All of that costs 1 point.
Okay, so I'll brainstorm for things that might fit Bella then.
Okay, sounds good. Because you're almost there. You're very
I'm
close.
1 minute away,
But
and I still have 2 seconds.
With this moment of respite, we're gonna call it for the evening because the next section is gonna take a lot longer than 4 minutes. So, we should finish up next week. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Hopefully, people got to watch it on the video of the day stuff. So
Don't forget community cause for
yeah, community
you know.
cause for this evening. If anyone can do a donation, I'm going to be tossing because we had technically difficulty. Toss a few that way. For a mother of 4 who is looking to get out of a unhealthy living situation to assist in that. I mean, I'm not going to do the sign off for like what's tomorrow because the video of the day won't be up till things are going on.
Go ahead and plug the.
Next week for the compound, and we're doing a week long. Why the hell can I never remember the word?
Charity
Charity
stream. Charity stream. The word charity.
Charity.
I'll remember
Straight
that
out
word.
your head.
Yeah, straight out of my head. Every time I'm about to say the word, it goes away. But we're doing a charity stream next week. All of our donations will go towards the charity cause that is being worked for the Nat 30s. And we again thank Izzy for her production talents with us every week and all the work she does to get us going and getting things done. And we will clear this. We will hopefully finish this one next week, barring some wild shit.